As a violinist, I got very fond of the music written by George Enesco. A few years ago, I had the chance to play his octet. It's a very challenging work, and for years I've been wanting to spend a few days and rehearsals with close friends and get to the bottom of how I feel about this piece and try to play it. I feel grateful that everybody could come in such a time, and that this project is happening. I feel very blessed by that, actually. I would like that instead of the sound being here, it's here. So I'm very demanding.
Yeah,
it's worth trying that, because if we get this, we will be very happy.
Yeah, exactly.
At the origin of this project comes this piece and my love for Enesco, and also try to find close friends that I would feel like I wanted to play that piece with them. And I'm very blessed to have found such great musicians, and some of them were my students, but really they are most importantly musicians I admired very much. This is, first of all, a great composer that happened to also have been a famous violinist of his time and a wonderful violinist, but basically is first and foremost a great composer on the par with Bartók and indeed Ravel or Debussy. I think each of us violinists is a hidden gypsy in our lonely heart. And this Enesco, this composer, it does that to one. You feel suddenly that you hear music through the ears of a gypsy player, which is very profound, very natural, and nostalgia, as if the world is always at peace. It ends with this crazy waltz, as if it's written really from the Carpathian Mountains with some knife in one's teeth, and it feels like it's very ambitious and it wants to take over the whole world. The waltz is really, when we think about it, is really the signature of Vienna. And also all civilization that goes with the Austro-Hungarian Empire, to which Romania, where Enesco comes from, is part of. So I thought how to make a project with this octet by Enesco, and then I thought, well, what would be really great is to be able to play À La Valse by Ravel.
With the E,
Yeah.
the low E, and I
Yeah.
can do it. We can try.
And so it's both a tribute to the Austro-Hungarian tradition and the waltz, but also its doom.
This is
Play that.
We could separate. Yeah. I like
that's the problem here. There is a musical problem here. The problem was that there was no transcription made by Ravel or somebody close for strings. So I decided to commission that to a young composer called Tim Mulman. He's a Belgian pianist.
I tried to look for as much colors as possible, also with some other playing techniques, change a lot in the tessitura. We talked about it, right? That we could find some liberties in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can be really a really new version, a very personal version of ours.
En fait, il y a plein de percus qui manquent dans sa...
It's very nice to have a new piece that expands the repertoire of the chamber music for strings. It's a new ground, a new territory. Yeah. Yeah,
I could do that.
well, I think you could do that. And last but not least comes this waltz, this very special waltz by Debussy. And it has a very naughty title because it's called La plus que lente, which can be roughly translated as the more than slow. I think when Debussy wrote this piece, he actually had written really things that made him famous even to this day, like Péléas and Mélisande and so forth. So this is in 1910, and he spent a whole summer writing this La plus que lente for piano solo. And he wanted to write a bestseller while being actually subversive. This is a very subversive atmosphere, this waltz. And so, through reading this book by another violinist called Arthur Hartmann, who is an American violinist from Hungarian descent, and came to Paris to live and try to immerse himself in French culture. They worked together on other transcriptions, La Fille aux cheveux de lin, that Debussy did for him, and also they wrote together Minstrels, which is one of the piano prelude. And it's written on the manuscript, it's written for piano and Hartmann. Debussy used to take him to this hotel who had a gypsy band from Hungary that was playing there in residence at the time, around 1910. They went home after listening to the gypsies once again, and they were drinking and so forth. And Debussy sat at the piano and started playing some of his own music, absolutely ravishingly, apparently. And then said, I'm going to play you my latest composition. And he played this La plus que lente. And he played it, according to Hartmann, not slow at all, quite fast, and with a lot of humor in it, and a lot of jokes and second degree to what he was doing. And after he's playing it, he said, I would love to transcribe this piece for the gypsy band we just heard this evening. And said, what is this instrument, you know, how do you call it, the cimbalo, or so forth. And so Hartmann, who was from Hungarian descent, said, the cimbalom, and I have one at home. I will make you a little drawing so you can see where the strings are and how one can play this thing so you can eventually write for it. And then afterwards, life separated them. And some 20 years later, long after Debussy passed away, Hartmann was in America, back in America, and told some friends about his encounters with Debussy and told them about this La plus que lente and so forth. And one of his friends, a musician, told him, but that's true. He did transcribe it with cimbalom for a small ensemble. It's for an orchestra, and it's published. And so Hartmann didn't know that, ordered the music immediately. And he writes with this amazement that he's amazed that you see that actually there is a cimbalom part, a very prominent part there, and an ensemble that you would see for the gypsies, which is only for gypsies from Paris, but it has also a flute and a clarinet, so it's a small orchestra, really. And it's amazing that it exists in that version. And so Hartmann thought, well, he didn't really do a good job. It's very bad use of the cymbalum, and it's too bad, and he didn't like how people played that. But I think it was well suited that there is this Eastern European instrument that is included in this more than French valse. In this time of pandemic, when we cannot really access the audience in the same way we wish, it was wonderful to get together and play music together and make something that eventually is going to be heard, and I hope you enjoy it. Good. I think we got it, no?
Yes, but
And so the last little piece we play in this project with my friends, it's a very nationalistic little piece that Enesco wrote in 1917. That was at the end of the First World War, when Romania was about to have finally its own independence from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And is celebrating the 24th of January, which is a national holiday celebrating the unity of three of the main regions of Romania. And well suited because the end of the waltz is actually creating the beginning of independent people.